minutes ago, they more or less said that all the work, all the nitty-gritty, that's down to us. Yes. So I hope we can agree on that. Now, 1,000 years ago, Vikings controlled the North Sea. And not a lot of people know why they were so successful. How did they manage to go to America 500 years before Christopher Columbus? Well, the answer is they exploited the wind. They made sails for their ships. So they put a tremendous effort into this, and it took us a long time to make the sail, and was just as expensive as it did to make the ship. And it was even more important. Today, we need to learn from the Vikings. Not fight each other, though, but collaborate on doing what they did. Exploiting the forces of nature to our benefit. Finding new ways of harvesting the wind. And the declaration that our heads of state signed, and the declarations that we will sign now, is a testament to our motivation to do just that. It's obviously expanding our offshore wind capacity massively. 65 gigawatts. That's a quadrupling of how much we have now in 2030. 150 gigawatts. That's enough electricity to supply 230 million European homes in 2050. It's quite extraordinary. Apart from that, new technology, hydrogen, how do we store the energy, how do we get the renewable energy into our transport systems, all of these things we need to collaborate on. So with those words, let's get the pens out and sign the agreements, and then afterwards my colleagues will have a few statements also.
And we will start by signing the joint declaration of the energy ministers, and I will kindly ask you to join Mr. Jørgensen for the signing.
Okay. So here we are. So I'll start.
The Viking Declaration of Esbjerg.
The Viking Declaration, yes. Got? Yeah. Excellent. Thank you so much. Here we are. Thank you.
And then we have 3 bilateral agreements, and we will start with Denmark and Belgium, who will sign an agreement to connect the countries' respective energy islands in the North Sea.
There we go.
Yes. Shake hands.
Shake hands, of course. Excellent. Great.
And now Denmark and the Netherlands will sign an agreement exploring how to connect the Danish energy island with a Dutch energy hub, including perspectives for green hydrogen.
Do you want to start, Rob?
Oh, you go ahead.
Okay. Here we go.
Shake hands.
Shake hands.
And finally, Denmark and Germany will sign an agreement on green hydrogen cooperation.
Here we are, Robert. I will start. There you go. Perfect. Congratulations.
Now we will invite the ministers for, we are a bit over time, so for a very brief statement, and we will start with Belgium, please.
Yes, thank you, and I will keep it brief, as probably we are all hungry and thirsty. But today is a historic day because all the 4 of us, but let's not forget the European Commission with the European strategy, also the first with the European offshore wind strategy, and that we are now the 4 of us uniting forces to make the North Sea the biggest renewable electricity plant. That is a historic moment. And yes, our prime ministers can only shine because we already did the work in the background. But more important, we will continue to do so, as we have signed now also these bilateral agreements. Thank you for having us, Dan, and also thank you for traveling with us today.
And I now give the word to Minister Rob Yetten.
Thank you very much. And I'm, as a Minister of Climate and Energy, but also as a grandson of a miller, I'm very pleased to be here today and to announce these huge ambitions on the North Sea together with these 4 countries. Thank you so much for organizing this event. The Dutch government just announced our ambitions for the wind production by 2030, 21 gigawatts, but I'm very looking forward to increase these ambitions by 2040 and 2050. And I'm also very happy that we just signed the declaration between the Netherlands and Denmark, because connecting our energy hubs and energy islands will be beneficial not only for our own countries but for all the countries in the region. And in the upcoming period we will look into how to connect these islands, but also how to produce green hydrogen on the North Sea for our industries and our transport sectors. And we will also work together with the other countries around the North Sea, especially Norway, the UK and Ireland. So this is a very important step today here, and looking forward to the ongoing cooperation. Thank you.
Indeed.
Thank you, Mr. Yetten. And now I give the floor to the German Minister, Robert Habeck.
Well, thank you very much, and congratulations, Dan, for hosting this very, very important conference. You mentioned the Vikings, but I think it's only one part of the story. As far as I know, they were also bloodthirsty warriors fighting and killing other people, and they used drugs. The berserkers used drugs to get their wars done. None of this happened today. It was a mood of no. It was, first of all, it is high concentration and really work on the processes here. And of course, you can say that building renewable energies is also a sign of peace today, and not fighting other people and not giving people the money to fight other peoples. So in a way, we can say we're a little bit too late hosting this conference regarding the Ukraine war. But of course, starting is always good, and thank you very much that you made the starting point. Some few words in German. Das Besondere an diesem Tag ist, dass wir europäisch nicht nur Netze planen und ausbauen und ein europäisches Wasserstoffnetz aufbauen wollen, die Infrastruktur also gemeinsam entwickeln, was dringend erforderlich ist, sondern zum ersten Mal in der europäischen Geschichte gemeinsame Kraftwerke bauen. In diesem Fall erneuerbare Kraftwerke, also die verschiedenen Länder zusammenkommen mit ihrem Investment, auch mit ihrer Abnahmegarantie für die Windfarmen und damit eine erneuerbare Energiestruktur auch in der Produktion erzeugen. Das gab es noch nicht davor, und das, die gemeinsame Kraft der europäischen Staaten, der Nachbarn, der Freunde in Europa, das ist das Zeichen dieses Tages, und es ist gut, dabei zu sein. Und danke, dass du die Konferenz hier organisiert hast.
Danke.
Thank you, Mr. Habeck. And lastly, I give the floor to Commissioner Kati Simpson.
Thank you. Today's summit here in Denmark coincides with European Commission publishing REPowerEU proposal. And this is our blueprint how to get rid of the dependency on Russian natural gas. Well, the core of this proposal is to accelerate the renewables. And we will propose that we will increase the share of renewables in our energy mix to 45%. European Commission is not offering only a higher target, but also tools to achieve that. So part of our REPowerEU is also faster permitting process. And in this regard, well, it is wonderful to see ambition here, because, well, North Sea is the region that can deliver a lot. And that is the reason why the European Commission is strongly supporting your initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you all. And we will make room for quick questions before you have to leave for dinner. First, Danish national broadcaster TV2.
Thanks a lot. One of the biggest problems about getting enough power out in the North Sea is the very long time you have from the start when you start to make a decision about the windmills and then until you see the windwheel actually being active out here. Could you give me your perspective on how to shorten that period a lot of time and not fighting too much against environmental issues, because that must be some kind of a balance point for you?
Yes, well, that's exactly one of the main focuses of today's conversation for us. How do we make sure that we can make this transformation faster? Now, in Denmark right now, for instance, it takes around 7.5 years in average to build an offshore wind farm. But it doesn't actually take 7.5 years to build it. That's probably only 2 years. So how can we make sure that that process is faster? Well, first of all, we need to look at the rules. Some of them are national, some of them are EU rules. And that's why it's also a very positive thing that the European Commission has said that that's also a focus area from their side. So maybe, Katri, if you want to also share a few comments on that.
Well, indeed, today's proposal was also dedicated to the Renewables Directive. And we will propose that member states will grant special territories, so-called Go-To position. And in these territories, they can use fast permitting procedure that will not take more than 1 year. But at first, member states have to opt for this option, that they want to dedicate this special position for certain territories. And of course, this is a legislative proposal, so we need co-legislators, European Parliament and member states, to agree with this proposal.
And let me be sure that I understand this answer correctly. Does that mean that Denmark can, for example, point out Esbjerg and saying we have a fast track here, or do you need to have some kind of combination between different European countries so you are sure that everybody will be fighting on a fair square?
No, the right to choose the territories which will be granted Go-To position is national competence.
Okay. Will Denmark use that possibility, Dan Jørgensen? And could you see the Esbjerg as an example of that?
That is definitely a possibility. I mean, we are in the process of quadrupling our own offshore wind capacity before 2030, so we are in a hurry. We've also just decided to make decisions to have a capacity of electrolysis of between 4 to 6 gigawatts, which also implies the need for even more renewables. So we will definitely look into these opportunities, and we'll definitely support the Commission in the coming negotiations on finding a solution that will make it possible to have faster permitting.
Then we have a question from the Belgian broadcaster RTBF.
Yes, my question is for Danish minister. The agreements, the declaration today involves 4 countries, of course, but Belgium has been discussing interconnection with Denmark for quite a long time. Can this be an advantage for a quicker connection with the Danish network?
Yes, I think Belgium has an advantage. So, colleagues, please saddle up. And no, it goes without saying we've had a very constructive dialogue. We also have that with colleagues from other countries, and we are also speeding up that process. But Belgium will be the first country now that we know for certain will be connected to the offshore island that will be 80 kilometers out in the sea. And in 2033, at the latest, we'll be up and running first to produce 3 gigawatts of offshore wind, and on a later stage, 10 gigawatts.
Thank you.
So you know that I'm not joking when I tell you this.
Yes, she's not lying.
No, I'm sure about it.
And lastly, we have Volkskrant from the Netherlands for a question.
Yes, thank you. I'm not sure who to address, but maybe you can decide after I've asked my question. Today you presented very ambitious plans for the production and distribution of green energy and hydrogen. But what not is mentioned is what also needs to be cranked up is the demand for green electricity and also energy savings. Do you have a plan for that as well?
I know the Commission just proposed to increased the ambition level on the Energy Efficiency Directive. Isn't that right?
Well, indeed. Well, there is no chance that we will replace Russian natural gas imports 100% with alternative suppliers. That means that to get rid of this dangerous dependency, we have to promote savings where we can, and then, of course, accelerate the renewables and fasten the permitting process. Savings is part of REPowerEU proposal, and there is a dedicated guidance to member states what is possible at national level and even in an individual level.
And I think over the past few weeks, all of us have announced packages for extra savings, like huge campaigns to inform the public how to save energy in the short term, but also extra subsidies to improve your housing, for example, to make sure that we use less and less energy. And I think we can learn from each other and the most effective ways to get the public into action.
I learned actually that the average time of showering in Netherlands is 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And he suggested just do it in 5, which is still a long time.
But it's actually working. So yeah.
You wash for 10 minutes. Okay.
But it's 50% saving, actually, if you're not showering cold.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Maybe I can just finish then with a small advertisement, because in June, 7 and 8, is it? 7 and 8 of June, we will be hosting the annual energy efficiency conference of the IEA, very close to here in the city of Sønderborg, and most of my colleagues here will also be there, because you are right in saying that if we don't address also the consumption of energy and bring that down, then we have no chance of reaching our targets. So it's
crucial.
It's crucial, definitely, yes. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
Now we need to go get something to
Okay, so